I'm just going to say it. I'm calling bullshit on you because that's utter bullshit. The Raiders would be fools if they didn't ask you your opinion of Shedeur. And obviously, as I'm about to detail...
What is up, world? Welcome back, Charge the Game podcast. I'll be your host here, Chuck, and today we got to talk about the beef between Tom Brady and Skp Bayless. You guys remember back in the day when Shedeur Sanders was training with Tom Brady? You know, they FaceTiming each other on three-way. Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Tom Brady. They're talking about, you know, Shedeur Sanders' performance and, you know, what Shedeur Sanders should be focused on. It made it look like Tom Brady was the mentor and Shedeur Sanders was the mentee. Well, we know that Tom Brady has 10% ownership in the Las Vegas Raiders. We also saw the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders come out and say that it would be genuinely stupid not to lean on Tom Brady as far as selecting a quarterback, right? So everybody started to speculate that Shedeur Sanders would indeed be going to the Las Vegas Raiders. But as you guys saw, just like the rest of the world, Shedeur Sanders did not go in the first round. He did not go in the second, third, or fourth round. He went in the fifth round, guys. And, you know, and Skp Bayless was one of the first people to come out and criticize Tom Brady. And ever since then, it's been this back and forth between the two. As you guys see here, this was one. I think he sent out about 2 or 3 tweets exposing or going at Tom Brady. So this is what Skp Bayless had to say around the time that Shedeur Sanders was not being drafted, right? It is now pretty clear Tom Brady, who mentored Shedeur, told the Raiders not to take Shedeur. Duly noted, right? I feel like everybody else was kind of expecting Tom Brady to make this big time decision. However, I feel like there's only so much that you can do with 10% ownership. And at the end of the day, it may be a little bit of truth in this, guys, where if Tom Brady really wanted Shedeur Sanders, I mean, I do believe that the Las Vegas Raiders could have selected him, right? That's just my opinion. But I do feel like Tom Brady has the right to kind of stay out of this as well. I think that he also has the right to not want that responsibility of Shedeur potentially being a bust and then organization blaming him. So I can kind of see it both ways. Since all of this has happened, there has been a lot of back and forth between Tom Brady, Shedeur Sanders, and last but not least, Skp Bayless. So Brady was asked a question about the Shedeur Sanders being snubbed and drafted in the 5th round. And this is what Tom Brady had to say. I wasn't part of any evaluation process or to see that. He goes on to say that's the problem with the media is everyone could just say whatever the F they want and get away with it. It's kind of unfortunate because there actually used to be a lot of integrity in media and there's way less now because everyone needs crazy voices to get heard. That actually probably hurts a lot of relationships, which is not the goal of broadcasting. It should be to develop and cultivate and solve problems. And rather than the critiques, I want people to offer solutions. And this was Tom Brady's way of getting back at Skp Bayless because Tom Brady has been facing a lot of backlash. If I have to be honest, I think that Tom Brady has probably heard from the Shedeur Sanders camp, maybe Deion Sanders, and, you know, they probably are feeling some type of way. I mean, we know that he did get selected, but he was severely embarrassed. Okay, it was embarrassing for you to think that you were going to go in the 1st round and you end up going in the 5th round. You lose a lot of money. And, you know, I believe deep down Shedeur Sanders felt some type of way. And with Skp Bayless going out there stirring that pot, he's also close to Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders helped Skip's beloved Cowboys win a championship, guys. So guess what? When Skp Bayless speaks, they are going to listen. And I think that Tom Brady deep down, guys, I think that he deep down feels somewhat to blame. Maybe he could have said something. Maybe he didn't have a chance to say anything. Who really knows? But I feel like he's trying his best to clear the air because Tom Brady strikes me as a guy that wants to be liked by everyone. And if Shedeur Sanders or the Shedeur Sanders camp, Deion Sanders, if they are no longer, you know, wanting to speak to Tom Brady, he may feel the need to go out here and explain himself. So Skp Bayless then turns around and responds and lets it all go.
Everything I said about you and Shedeur Sanders is obviously exactly right. That Tom Brady obviously played a role in the Raiders passing on Shedeur Sanders 7 times in the draft before finally Cleveland took him, as you know, early in the 5th round. 7 times the Raiders passed on Shedeur Sanders. Yet when Tom Brady was asked on the Jake Paul podcast why Shedeur fell so far, stammered for a second. And then he said, that's a good question. Tom said, I wasn't part of any evaluation process.
Now, the crazy part about it is, Skp Bayless literally ran off Shannon Sharpe to defend Tom Brady. So, before we even continue to investigate this, I just think that it's kind of funny how Skp Bayless is now going at Tom Brady. I think that he's trying to make a name for himself and get back good in this industry to potentially land a job at, I don't know, 70, 80 years old. I think that Skp Bayless is being tactical here, and I also think that Skp Bayless knows a lot of insider information that we do not know for him to be calling out Tom Brady. It also does seem very valid for Skp Bayless to say that you had insider information on the draft and Shedeur Sanders wasn't selected by the Las Vegas Raiders because Tom Brady has to have some type of pull. I mean, this guy literally has 7 Super Bowl rings. I'd like to think that once Tom Brady speaks, people like to listen. But Tom Brady is saying that that is not the case.
Really? Interesting. So, soon after Pete Carroll took over as Raiders coach, he said, we're going to build this team up around the quarterback position, and we're going to lean on Tom as much as we possibly can. Smart. Then there was this from the new Raiders general manager, John Spytek, who said, when we are looking at a quarterback, we'd be a fool not to involve Tom.
Now, this makes Tom Brady look quite shitty, if I'm being honest, right? Because you have Pete Carroll, which I did not know, and then you have the owner saying that, you know, we'd be a fool not to lean on Tom Brady as far as his quarterback knowledge is selecting a quarterback in this process. But you know what I think? I think that Tom Brady also backed out of the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes. I think that he no longer wanted to invest in the Shedeur Sanders stock. And I think that Skp Bayless may be on to something, and that Tom Brady just probably did not see the zap, whatever you want to call it, in Shedeur Sanders. Because we see a lot of top prospects, guys, that look like they are going to be this one person to change the franchise, and everyone isn't a success story. You have guys who are top tier quarterbacks that turn out to be busts. You have guys that go in the 6th round like Tom Brady and come out being the best ever. So you just never know.
I'm just going to say it. I'm calling bullshit on you because that's utter bullshit. The Raiders would be fools if they didn't ask you your opinion of Shedeur. And obviously, as I'm about to detail, you said no to Shedeur. Because they did pass him 7 straight times. I don't know if you don't like his intangibles, the way a lot of people around the NFL thought he was just too brash and too arrogant and too spoiled and privileged and entitled and blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all. Maybe it was the intangibles that turned you away. Or maybe you watched him evolve as a quarterback and you just said, no, he just can't play in this league. A lot of people thought you couldn't play in this league, you 6th round draft pick that you were. So maybe you did to Shedeur what they did unto you, Tom. But you obviously said no. You obviously just didn't believe in this kid, and you should own that. Acknowledge it. It's okay. There's no problem with it. That's the way I do business. Just own it.
Now, I will admit, there are a lot of interesting points here made by Skp Bayless. And the way he's calling Tom Brady out, it does look like Tom Brady may have pulled out the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes. Like I just told you guys, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that Skp Bayless just wants Tom Brady to come out and admit that. But I feel like Tom Brady was so, deep in with Shedeur Sanders as far as, or at least making it look like they just had like this relationship where, eventually Tom Brady was going to pull for Shedeur Sanders. We saw the Las Vegas Raiders owner at one of the basketball games come up to Shedeur Sanders and say that, Vegas will look good with you there. And, I feel like Shedeur Sanders got his hopes up, and maybe he felt like for sure that one of these teams was going to take him. And if no team took him, then his mentor, Tom Brady, should have been the last person that would pass on him 7 times. But I also see Tom Brady's side of the story. But something is telling me that this time, guys, Some is telling me that Skip Bayless may be right here, right? So I want you to let me know what you guys think. Do you guys even blame Tom Brady if this is the truth? I don't blame Tom Brady. I'm not going to hold Tom Brady's feet to the fire when he isn't a GM or a head coach. So I feel like if Skip Bayless is going to be mad at Tom Brady because he was a mentor to Shedeur Sanders, he needs to have the same attention and the same anger towards all of the other 31 owners and head coaches across the National Football League. But I do, in a sense, believe that Tom Brady just pulled out. So you guys let me know what y'all think here. Do you guys think that Skip Bayless is on to something and that he is telling the truth? Or do you guys think that Tom Brady is telling his truth? Either way it goes, guys, let me know what you guys are thinking. Drop it in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you guys do me a huge favor and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, guys. It helps me go a long way. Also, guys, like, share, and hit that notification bell for more future content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.